job. Oh, that's cool.
My name is Joanne Magley. I'm the Community Information Director for Volusia County Government, and this is the 3 p.m. Hurricane Irma update for Volusia County. With us today, Volusia County Council Vice Chair Deb Denny's, Volusia County Council Member Heather Post, Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood, Property Appraiser Larry Bartlett, County Manager Jim Deneen, Emergency Management Director Jim Judge, Chris Brimmel from Duke, and we also have Larry Volanek from FPML. Starting us off is Vice Chair Deb Denny's.
Good afternoon. The County Council members are actively involved in distributing post-storm information regarding Hurricane Irma. I urge all of the residents to follow the directives of the local officials to be safe as we all work together to recover after the storm. Volusia County Citizens Information Center, our CIC, is available for persons with questions about how to work together after Hurricane Irma. The CIC is operating 24/7 until further notice, and the number to call is 866-345-0345. We want people to download the Emergency Management app, follow the Emergency Management on Facebook and Twitter at VC Emergency Info. We're also providing updates at www.volusia.org/pin.
Good afternoon. This press conference today will take a little bit of time because we're going to try and be as thorough as we can to give you the post-storm advice and talk about the action plan. What I'll do is give you a tiny overview of where we're at with power, and both FPNL and Duke will go into detail. As of 2 p.m. today, the power outages are as follows. FPNL, 97,133 people are without power, 55% of their systems in Volusia County. Duke Energy has 66,000 people that don't have power, or 80%. Clay Electric has 2,075 people that are out, or 98%. New Smyrna Beach Utilities, 17,000 are out, or 60%. The shelters we have in the schools are all now closed. We do have a shelter at the Ocean Center for persons with special needs, and for those who are unable to stay in their home due to damage and flooding from the Hurricane Irma. We ask people that have legitimate needs, in other words, like a tree fell through their house or it's flooded, to take some pictures to show us, because this is really for people that have no other place to turn. The shelter can accommodate those with special needs who need electricity or oxygen and other medical equipment such as certain monitors and feeding tubes. Clients with medications are required to that require a caregiver who require monitoring also are welcome at the shelter. Persons seeking shelter at the Ocean Center with a pet need to have a crate and pet supplies, so please bring your food, water, leash, and shot records. I'll now pass the baton on to Sheriff Mike Chitwood, who can give you some information.
Good afternoon. We are going to continue enforcing countywide curfew, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The purpose of the curfew is not to impede with commerce, with anyone traveling to or from work, or anyone who has legitimate business to be out after those hours. The purpose is we have people in our community that are taking advantage of this disaster. We've had 4 burglaries throughout the county since Hurricane Irma has touched us, and it's important to know that if you commit a burglary during this time period, this curfew in a state of emergency, the penalties are enhanced. So we're asking folks, if you don't have legitimate business, stay off the streets between 10 p and 6 a. If you have legitimate business, by all means proceed to do that. Another issue that has come up for us is the St. John River flooding. There is flooding along the river. It is expected that in the next 4 days, the banks will increase by 10 inches. So we're asking boaters, if you go out there, idle speed, no wake zones, and also, with the river being so high, you need to be aware of submerged docks and submerged debris, and more importantly, be cognizant of the folks that live along that river, because if you go speeding down there, you're flooding their property. I'd like to turn it back to the county manager.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next, we're going to have Mr. Volnek from FPNL and also a representative from Duke Energy to give you the real details that you're all wanting to know about power. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and good afternoon. My name is Larry Volnek. I'm Regional Manager with Florida Power and Light. And first, I want to start with safety is number one for our customers, for our employees, and contractors assisting with restoration. If you can stay off the roads, please do. Law enforcement, public works, first responders, utility workers, and many others are out there trying to restore power and restore some sense of normalcy to your work, to your life. Many traffic signals are still out. Please treat them as four-way stops. For additional information about FPL, you can go to fpl.com. There is an FPL app you can download, and also our phone number, 1-800-4OUTAGE. Remember, many people are still trying to call in, so please be patient. Let's look at the big picture first. FPL's massive Hurricane Irma's restoration effort is underway with a record of more than 20,000 workers responding to the largest number of outages in our company's history. 4.4 million customers were impacted by Irma, and more than 1.6 million have had their service restored. Our crews are working around the clock to get our customers' lights back on. Now let's move locally. Yesterday I reported that Volusia County had 124,000 customers out, and today we're at 97,000 customers out of a total of 178,000 customers. And remember, restoration started yesterday. We're actively restoring service and have completed our preliminary assessments of the damage. And now the question you've all been asking, when will power be back on? As I had stated previously, we're going to give a system ETR today, and then tomorrow we'll be giving it to you at a county level. FPL estimates that it will restore power to a vast majority, and that's essentially all customers along the East Coast service territory by the end of this upcoming weekend. That's Sunday. Also, in contrast, we estimate we will restore power to the vast majority, essentially all customers along the west coast of Florida, not this Friday, but the following Friday. The exceptions are going to be for areas impacted by tornadoes, severe flooding, and portions that have severe damage. We'll be working to provide updated estimates at the county level tomorrow. This has been one of the most unique storms in our company's history, and this will likely be one of the most challenging restorations that our country has ever seen. Hurricane Irma, unprecedented by most every measure in its size, its destructive power, and slow movement. All 27,000 square miles and 35 counties of our service territory have been impacted by this devastating storm. So the plan, how do we restore power? We first restore by repairing damage to our power plants, power lines that carry the electricity from the plants to the local substations. Then we start restoring power to critical facilities such as hospitals, police and fire, communications facilities, water treatment plants, transportation providers, and during that time, other customers will also be restored. At the same time, we're looking at restoring customers to the power to the largest number of customers in the shortest amount of time, and that includes service to major thoroughfares that host supermarkets, pharmacies, gas stations, and need community services. From there, we repair infrastructure serving the smaller groups and neighborhoods converging on the hardest hit areas until every customer's power has been restored. We know it's challenging to be without power, and I want to assure all our customers that every FPL employee is dedicated to getting the lights back on as safely and quickly as possible. And we want to urge you to be more safe now than ever, because a majority of the injuries and fatalities occur after the storm has passed. Florida Hospital and Halifax Health can confirm this. Please exercise caution in flooded areas. Call the 1-800-4OUTAGE for immediately reporting a dangerous condition. And we take the safety of our customers very seriously and understand that our crews, and please understand that our crews and contractors do not need to enter your home to restore power. Again, I want to make that clear. We take our customer safety very seriously and understand that our crews and our contractors' crews will never need to enter your home to restore power. Please ensure all electric appliances, especially ovens and stoves, are turned off to prevent fires. And exercise caution to avoid all power lines, especially when cleaning up around your yard. It might be disguised in the vegetation and you will not be able to see it. And no trimming should be done around a power line. We will not stop until all our customers are restored. I want to thank Volusia County and all the employees and your help in returning life to as normal as quickly as possible.
Chris Rival, spokesman for Duke Energy. Really, we're in this together with FP&L. The storm broke the back of the Duke system. We have substations out. We have major damage to our system, and it's just going to take, frankly, a long time to restore. That could mean days, that could be weeks for a rebuild. I'll be very frank with you. Volusia County was one of the 5 hardest hit in the Duke territory. It's going to take a while. That said, this afternoon, about 7,000 workers from Duke's Midwest operations as well as other contractors are being staged in Central Florida right now. So you'll see a lot more action in the next probably afternoon or day. I'll be happy to answer any questions. That's the bottom line. We are on our back, getting back up right now. I just ask for patience. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Starting this morning at sunup, literally, our county road and bridge teams were out in the field working on clearing our primary roads. And currently there are about 150 intersections without traffic signals in the county. Motorists should treat these intersections as 4-way stops. Be patient and be courteous. Beach Street in Ormond Beach near Tomoka State Park, John Anderson Drive in Ormond Beach, and Walter Boardman in Ormond Beach are currently closed due to flooding. So motorists should avoid and detour these areas. We currently have a boil water notice for the town of Pearson. Residents should boil water before drinking by holding it at a roiling boil for at least 1 minute. You can disinfect it by adding 8 drops or approximately 1/8 of a teaspoon of unscented household bleach per gallon of water. Let it stand for 30 minutes. If the water is cloudy, after 30 minutes, then repeat the procedure. Also, people should only use the store-bought type bottled water for mixing their baby formula. And with that, let me turn it over and introduce Larry Bartlett.
Good afternoon, I'm Larry Bartlett, the county property appraiser. Our teams went out early this morning to assess damage, along with the city's damage assessment teams. The preliminary results coming back indicate that the wind damage for Irma is going to be less than it was for Matthew, but we are going to have much more flood damage. I urge residents with insurance to file a claim with that insurance company. And if you have received significant damage from Hurricane Irma and are unable to stay in your home, call Volusia County's Citizen Information Center at 866-345-0345. That's 866-345-0345. To report damage to your home, you can submit information to the Volusia County Emergency Management application. And now I'll turn it over again to the County Manager, Jim Denny.
Thank you. Now I'll give a list of government services that people depend on and give you an update about where we are. Volusia County Schools. All Volusia County public district schools will remain closed through Wednesday, September 13th. Any future closings will be determined on a day-to-day basis, so stay tuned for updates. The Daytona Beach International Airport will reopen at 4 a.m. Wednesday, September 13th. Travelers should check with their airlines regarding their flight schedule. Rental car companies, the airport will also reopen at 4 a.m. Wednesday, September 13th. In addition, cars parked at the airport can be picked up. At the beach, beaches remain closed. There is debris on the beach and in the water. Beach officials are flying double red flag and there should be no water activity. There also is a high rip current risk. We're trying to open the beach as quickly as possible to driving and to pedestrians. Volusia County government. Volusia County government officials or government offices will reopen Wednesday, September 13th, with the exception of the county building at 250 North Beach Street in Daytona Beach, which will be closed until further notice because of flooding. This building houses Office for Veteran Services, Revenue, Property Appraiser, Community Assistance, Guardian Ad Litem, the Sheriff's Office, and the State Attorney. Veteran Services will be available beginning Wednesday, September 13th at these offices: 123 West Indiana Avenue in DeLand, 107 East Canal Street, New Smyrna Beach, and 775 Harley Strickland Boulevard in Orange City. The tag office in Orange City will reopen when power is restored. The majority of county parks are closed. Many county trails are closed until further notice. The following boat ramps and fishing docks are closed until further notice: Blue Lake Boat Ramp, Bridges Drive Fishing Dock, High Banks Boat Ramp, DeBerry, Lake Astor Boat Ramp, New Smyrna Beach, Lemon Bluff Boat Ramp, Osteen, and Rye Ocean Drive Fishing Dock in Ormond Beach. Additional county closures are DeBerry Hall, Historic Hall. The site is closed until further notice due to wind damage and debris. The Osteen Civic Center is closed until further notice, and the Lyonia Environmental Center in Deltona will reopen when the Deltona Regional Library reopens. The Marine Science Center will reopen Wednesday, September 13th. Volusia County Public Library System, the following libraries will open for regular hours Wednesday, September 13th. DeBerry Public Library at 200 North Charles Beale Boulevard. The DeLand Regional Library, 30 East Howard Avenue. Edgewater Public Library, 103 West Indiana Boulevard. Oak Hill Library, 125 East Halifax Avenue. New Smyrna Beach Regional Library, 101 South Dixie Freeway. Ormond Beach Regional Library, 30 South Beach Street. And Port Orange Regional Library, 1500 Civic Center Circle. The following line branches will reopen when power is restored: the Deltona Regional Library, the John H. Dickerson Heritage Library in Daytona Beach, the Lake Helen Public Library, the Orange City Public Library, and the Pearson Public Library. The Daytona Beach Regional Library at City Island is closed until further notice due to flooding. Now, Joanne?
Okay, at this time, we're going to open it up for questions from any of our speakers.
We have reports of a man drowning in Port Orange. Is that our first Irma death?
I can tell you, I don't know anything, we don't know anything about
He
that.
drowned in the Dunlawton River.
Excuse me?
He drowned in the Dunlawton River early Sunday morning, I think.
Don't know anything about
Okay.
it. We didn't respond to that, I can tell you that.
Okay.
There have been some natural deaths, but
For either FPNL or Duke, you mentioned your first priority is restore power plants. Did you have any damage to your actual plants or here or anywhere?
The first is to restore power to any power plants. We did all our observations. A couple of our nuclear units, as a preliminary measure, we went ahead and took them out of service, but we did not suffer any damage to the plants.
Also, there are a lot of people without power. Will it do them any good to call and let you know that, I don't have power, or are they just?
If they've already called in and notified us, with our smart meter system, we know that they're out of power. Many people, though, have called in to go ahead and put their mobile number in where they can be alerted when power is restored and they can get any other updates on our power restoration efforts. Best way to do that probably is using the FPL app instead of calling in, or you can go to fpl.com and sign on to your account that way.
Christie.
Sure. As far as generation assets, they are relatively unscathed. It's the substations that took the hit. Those that take the load to the houses, that's the backbone of our system, we think, and that's where the damage is. We are trying our best to go in a very methodical manner. We still have the same triage, so to speak, of the first people who get power are law enforcement, fire and rescue, emergency management. Second are at-risk populations, hospitals, nursing homes, and then the big gamble, who can get it first, and it's a variable game, we don't know.
Sheriff, for you, you mentioned 4 burglaries.
Yes.
Any other problems in the county that y'all have experienced?
The downed traffic lights are a potential for death and serious injury. And we cannot stress enough, it's been stressed for the last couple of days, when you come to those major intersections, treat them as a 4-way stop sign. Slowing down, coming to a stop, you're gonna save lives, in particular your own. That's the big one.
Sheriff, how strict is the nighttime curfew? Will y'all arrest people if they're out there?
If they're out there interrupting this nefarious deeds, they're getting arrested. Like I said in the beginning, we're not looking to interfere with commerce. You have delivery folks that are out there. You have people coming and going back and forth to work. But if you're out there and you know, there are people out there. You know, there's been 2 burglaries in Daytona Beach, 1 in Lake Helen, 1 in Port Orange, and 1 in Wilbur by the Sea, where people took advantage of the situation and went in and committed crime against legitimate business owners who were, you know, trying to protect their property. And we are not going to tolerate it. Like I said before, if you come in here and you act like a knucklehead, then we have a place for you. Thank you.
I can add a couple of final comments. We all went through Matthew, so we have a lot of experience, unfortunately, relatively recent experience in dealing with a hurricane of this magnitude. And while we have the same system in place that we had with Matthew and then some, we've learned some things. And I think we're doing the job the best we can in terms of making sure the streets are open and whatever. The one thing you've noticed that we've all been saying since day one is that this hurricane's different in the sense of how it impacted the rest of Florida. And so for the sake of the power companies, their demand for service because of the damage that's been done, unlike Matthew, is a larger portion of Florida. And so the one thing that I know people are not going to want to hear, but in all fairness to the power companies, is that no matter how hard they try, this is going to be a longer road to hoe in terms of some areas that are out of power compared to Matthew, because those services are being demanded across the state, and they're going to go where the greatest emergency is. And while we have emergencies here and we're dealing with people's needs, the bottom line is that some of the other communities, especially along the West Coast, got more heavily damaged than here. And you know, especially in the case of FP&L, a lot of their resources have to go there. So people, hate to say this, but as we said earlier, this was our greatest fear, is that we can do everything like we did before and try to clear up the streets and get rid of the debris, try to get people their property reviewed. The biggest problem is going to be getting power restored, because even with this massive army of 20,000 people that they have, as Larry told you, this is going to be an historic restoration for them and maybe for the country in bringing power back. And so it's going to take time, especially if you have damaged infrastructure. I think if it's just putting lines up, it's one thing. But I know people don't want to hear that. There is nothing that can be done more than what I think we are doing, and definitely what the power companies are doing. But you have lots more people damaged in this state, in some cases, in emergency situations, whether it be hospitals or power plants that need energy. So the bottom line is that we all weathered the storm well. I think that people took us serious. I want to applaud the media for getting the message out. People took us serious. And as you can see, we had no deaths, which is, that's an indication of people working together. But this nagging problem we're going to have with power is going to really affect some people. And it's going to hurt some people. But I can tell you that I feel comfortable, so does the rest of the team, that the power companies that you have, that you're buying power, whether it's FP&L or Duke or New Smyrna Beach, I think they are trying as best they can to make sure those things are repaired. But especially where they have other demands on other customers outside of this region. We didn't have this kind of damage in the rest of the state. It's going to take longer. So people are going to have to be patient. Thank you.
Dustin, real quick, we just checked our records. There is no reports of any drowning victims. Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? All right, we anticipate this being our last news media briefing. If something changes, we will announce that as we've been doing. Again, our Citizen Information Call Center is open 24/7 to answer any questions Hurricane Irma related, and I'm gonna, and that number is up on our website. Also, we encourage residents to get the latest information on our county's emergency management Facebook page. We're continuously posting updates for post-hurricane recovery there. And again, volusia.org/PIN. All the comprehensive information is on that website, including information for the cities. Comprehensive information will be posted there about debris pickup and anything Hurricane Irma related. So thank you very much.
Port Orange just sent a press release out.
Port Orange just sent a press release out, yeah.
About it?
Got it.
It is?
Yeah. Well, they're investigating it as.
Oh, they're investigating.